Hi. I said I was going to do a couple of other videos on equipment, and today what we're going to talk about is camera traps and mounts. It's really more about mounts actually than the camera traps, because pretty much everyone knows what a camera trap is. You know, whether it be a Reconyx like this or a Bushnell like this. You know, they're simple to use. Then you've got the more technology-wise like this is a Hick Micro with a cellular antenna that can send you to your phone. They all vary in another way, which is important to know about the mounts, and that is they all have either one or two attachment points at the back. Normally one on the bottom, one on the back. This is a Bushnell Essential, so it has two. They're the ones we use. Reconyx has one central. The Hick Micro in this case has one and one on the bottom. So what we've not found, it's actually other studies have found this in Central and South America, is that when they're actually mounted with the camera tripod thread like this, if it's mounted on one attachment like this, there's a tendency for animals to actually snap it off, and it's got a weak spot because it can be pivoted off, and this little pop screw thread here will just pop out. And in some studies they've actually found a lot of cameras have been damaged because they've just simply torn off the bracket and dropped from the tree. So we wanted to make sure that this didn't happen. So at first we bought some of these, which are they've got the thread, they've got a ball, you can change in different directions, you strap it to the tree, you can angle it perfectly, but they're actually quite expensive. And to be honest, once you actually you torque this up, and you can sometimes still move it. If you really torque it up, you can't, but we needed 40 of these to start the project, so it was going to be quite expensive. There are more robust types like this. You put your straps to, it's the same system, ball, but again they're quite expensive. So I came to the conclusion we could probably make our own for a lot cheaper, and actually we did come in. And so this is the bracket we came up with, and this comes up to about between $5 and $7 each, as opposed to $30 or $40 each. Times that by 40, you're talking a big saving. And the other thing is, of course, if we do need more of these in Panama or in different countries, it's hard to get them in country. It's more difficult. The hardware to make one of these homemade brackets, you can get it in most hardware shops throughout the world. How did we do it and what it is, I'll go through it. So this piece here is the most, if you imagine this, if we take this off, this is camera dependent, because what we're looking at, it's designed for an essential, Bushnell Essential. So we've got one thread point at the back and one point at the bottom. It's actually designed to attach on 2 points there and one underneath. It stops it then from being just pivoted off. And so far in 3 seasons, 3,000 camera trap nights, we've not lost one camera due to it being ripped off. We've lost them through damage, through animal damage, through being bitten or chewed, but never actually torn off the mount, which is a good thing. It proves that these are working. So this is just aluminium and bent and hold to whichever camera trap you have, whatever design you're having. The rest of it, which is basically this piece, this is going to be the same for whatever you have. All they're from is from, I've got, we buy and buy. It's called tie plates. They use in building steel, 3mm steel, to basically join 2 bits of timber in building projects. You just screw through. So they're widely available throughout the world. Any building shop has them. They come in a variety of sizes as well. If this is too big, you can get smaller, thinner ones, but you need a certain size for the camera. So costing $2-3 each. They normally come. They're normally galvanized And silver, we just spray them, we treat them a little bit and then spray them black so they're a little bit more stealth. The angle mode, to get the angle, to get it to pivot like this, and it will obviously also pivot like this, is we buy, it's the same, it's just building supplies. It's quite important to get it centered, the hole centered, so it's 3 with 1 center. You sometimes have to drill these back out to 6 mil, because then they're not, they won't exactly fit a 6 mil bolt through. And then I just round them either with a file or with an angle grinder, and it just allows them to move like this more. So you've got a movement of that, plus it can rotate on the plate like that, which means essentially once it goes on the tree with these bolts, that stops it rotating around the tree. These tie wraps, you can put straps through them. So even if the branch is like this or the tree is like this, you just undo this nut, rotate it in the position, rotate this, tighten it all up with a 10 mil spanner, and you're good to go. All for $7, you know. The other reason we like these is that some of the other types of camera trap mounts involved a spike that you screw into the tree. We weren't really happy with doing that, because of course if you get the wrong position you've got to unscrew it out, damage the tree potentially. It can cause disease to enter the tree, and in some areas you're not allowed to actually screw camera trap brackets into the trees, so this actually doesn't damage the tree. If you really want to be extra careful, you can put little shoes on the bolts, but basically it sits against the trunk of the tree and just stops this rotating. This is a good example of how the camera trap bracket works in the field. You never find a tree that's actually perfect every time, do you? So it allows you to move the camera vertically, even though the tree's not absolutely vertical like this. And those brackets themselves, it can just be rotated up, and then you just nip it up with 2 10 mil spanners. These are all the parts that you need to assemble one of these brackets. Like I said, you can get these pretty much all over the world in any hardware store, and it'll enable you to make a bracket for certainly under $10. I would say under $7 in a lot of places. And if you can get the parts in bulk in 10s or 20s at a time, you're gonna be possibly even under $5 for a camera trap bracket that works. And from the camera traps, we're getting some pretty good images.